I was a big guy. I always say I went from a young Jackie Gleason to an old Paul Newman. Back then, man, I wore that blue police shirt. I looked like another body of water. I needed somebody to be accountable to, and this woman has been an angel for me. She has changed my life.
From stand-up to back-to-back hit sitcoms, Mike and Molly and Bob Hearts Abishola, today's guest has comedy in every fiber of his being. With a new lease on life, he's sharing his inspiring weight loss journey. Please help me welcome Billy Gardell.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Welcome.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having me.
much. Right here.
Yes, sir.
You look amazing.
It's all right.
You feel amazing?
I do. I feel different. I used to be the guy that was like, get out of the way. And I'm like, did I bump you? So it's been an adjustment, but very grateful for it.
I can imagine. I can imagine. You've made several adjustments in your career.
Yeah.
You started out stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you, when we announced on our social media account that you were coming and we were specifically advertising this episode, one of the comments that I read was from a person that said they saw you years ago stand-up, right, and it was one of the best stand-up routines they've ever witnessed in their life.
Well, that was one person, and I appreciate that.
We all need that one person, don't we?
If I can make one person laugh, I'm not really good. I appreciate that. I try to convey in my act the things that connect us.
Yeah.
Carl Reiner once said, the more you make an audience care, the harder they'll laugh when you ask them to. Yeah. So if I can admit to you my weirdness and how I get through it and how I survive marriage and how I survive fatherhood and how I'm trying to survive health, that's something identifiable. And you know you're doing good with couples when like you hit something about marriage and they go, hey. So I try to convey those things.
That's so cool. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to do stand-up comedy.
It is I think the hardest job performance-wise, because like as an actor you can practice your lines, as a musician you can practice in your room. Stand-up, they take you to the top of a tall tree and they throw you and you hope you fly because there's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to practice at. It's only that connection between you and the audience.
You can't say cut, let me do another take.
There's no retakes, there's not other band members to hide when you can't remember the lyrics. But that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
It's that live or die moment every minute that you're up on stage.
So you've had such an amazing career, being able to play some characters that have really captured the heart of the viewing audience. Mike and Molly.
Classic. Mike and Molly is, both my shows that I got are based on love. Yeah. One is about two people thinking they would never find love, finding love.
Yeah. And
then the second show was two people from completely different cultures falling in love and realizing that no matter who you marry their family as well, and you marry their traditions as well.
Yes.
And how you navigate your relatives. And those are all common themes for us, I think.
Yeah.
And I like to gravitate towards things. There's enough bad in the world. So I like to gravitate towards things that give you a little hope. Just a little bit of hope. And a little bit of hope goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed quite a shift in your humor from Mike and Molly to Bob Hearts Abishola.
Yeah.
Especially season 5.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed even your character is drastically different.
Yeah,
Mike, in your role.
Yeah, Mike was more of a working class guy with a great heart who was frustrated by the nuts that were around him, but he loved them unconditionally.
Yeah.
Where Bob gets to be this guy who opens his heart to a Nigerian culture, a Nigerian woman, and finds that love wins no matter what. And so where they're different, they're also incredibly similar.
Yeah.
And like I said, what I try to do, even in my stand-up, is like we need to leave with a little hope. When I started, it was look at me, look at me, look at me, because I was trying to get attention for myself.
Yeah.
But as I went on in my journey, had a couple good awakenings, and I realized that I'm just here so you can forget your problems when you come in. They'll be waiting for you when you go home. But if I can give you a break from that, I think that's a noble way to be of service.
I think in Bob Hearts Abishola, I've seen your character there, and it's been really impressive to me because most comedians try to insert themselves.
To be the lead of a sitcom, and I've had this conversation with young comics that are on the brink too, I tell them, you're not going to be the funniest guy in the room. Yeah. If you're the center of the show, your job is to drive the story and react. So you're more of a straight man. Where Mike was a loud noise, Bob was like, yeah, we're all right. And Mike was like,
what?
So it was fun to play both of those, but common goals.
And I've noticed that the punchlines, you know, a lot of the punchlines used to be based on your physicality.
Well, yeah, you have to acknowledge, I mean, you know, I was a big guy. I always say I went from a young Jackie Gleason to an old Paul Newman. But that part of that is you have to play what's real. You have to play your struggle, and you have to play the things you have to confront. And look, you should never tease anybody. A buddy of mine always says, the truth without love is abuse.
Yeah.
So the reason you can get away with a joke about somebody is if there's love underneath it, and we understand that's a close relationship. Yeah. If you're just saying something to be mean, that doesn't work. So there has to be some love underneath that for the joke to land. Yeah. And that's where we can laugh at each other and laugh at ourselves, which is even more important.
A lot of your laughs, you used to make fun of your weight. In fact, I want to put a picture up on the screen that shows basically a before and after. You see where you were before, you see where you are now. It's amazing. Over 150 pounds.
Actually 173, but who's counting?
Yes.
Back then, man, I wore that blue police shirt. I look like another body of water. It's amazing. I still can't believe the journey that has happened, really, for me.
I want to talk about that journey, and I want to talk about how you went through the process of this weight loss when we come back.
Yes, sir.
So don't go anywhere. We're going to meet the person who was instrumental in helping Billy achieve this incredible transformation.
Absolutely.
We're here with Billy Gardell, and now joined by nutritionist Teri Hlubik.
My coach.
Teri, you are Billy's coach, his nutritionist.
Yep.
Tell me, what's your philosophy? Because obviously it's working.
Well, I love helping people to feel their best every single day of their life, not just for right now. Yeah. So I really focus on helping people to change their habits, the ones that aren't working for them.
Yeah.
And everyone's habits are different. So my approach is very customized, and it's very tailored, and I take into account their lifestyle, their habits, their eating patterns, sleeping patterns, stress levels, and emotional relationship with food. And then
that's the big one.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. There's a huge connection there. And then I create a plan and break that down into small, achievable, healthy steps. Yeah. It gives you something to focus on and succeed at every single day. Yeah. And those feelings of success feel so good. And those feelings of success also help replace like the negative self-talk that is often there. So when you're changing your habits into a healthy one, you actually enjoy the process.
See, I already feel better.
Yeah, see, I feel better too. No, you're just so positive, and it just
I think
really,
that's a huge part of it.
You have to have a positive mindset coming in. Now, Billy, you made a big decision to lose the weight, and you actually went through a procedure to kickstart the process.
I think everybody's decision for weight loss is different. And for me, what it was I kept gaining and losing the same 35 pounds while I was heavy.
Yeah.
And so I got to a point where we started working together on Mike and Molly. Teri was our first AD, and she also was building her business as a nutritionist. And we did some work together there, and I probably took off 35 pounds in that time, but I wasn't really ready to commit. And then I got away from her because I thought, well, I got it now. And then it got worse. And one of the biggest things you can do to change your life when you have something you can't control is to enlist help.
Yeah.
People think that it's not strong to ask for help. It's the opposite. The true meaning of strength is to say, I don't know how to do this and I need help. Yeah. Then you can begin to address what's truly wrong. So I went another few years and kept getting heavier and heavier, and I got so heavy I couldn't even move to exercise hurt. Then I developed type 2 diabetes, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. So I had looked at the consultation for bariatric surgery, which I did. I went to 2 of them and chickened out twice because I wasn't ready to commit to what it was going to take afterwards to maintain this weight. And what I knew I needed then was I knew I needed to commit, and I needed a guide. I needed somebody to be accountable to. And this woman has been an angel for me. She has changed my life. And, you know, our families are friends. Her husband, Jesse's a great actor in his own right. My wife, Patty, like we've all known each other. So there was already a trust built there. But she's great at what she does. And it was the addressing of that. So I went and got the bariatric surgery. And I always tell people, if you're thinking about, because a lot of people text me online or on social media and say, you know, did it work? Did it work? What did you do? I always go, don't think of the surgery, that's what you choose to do. Don't think of it as that's the answer. That's the beginning. What comes after it, the commitment to life change and mental change that comes after that, is what makes a successful transformation. And then I want to say one other thing. The reason I'm so open about this surgery is because I hate the misinformation that's out there online right now. Like there's a commercial where they said I ate magic gummy bears to lose a bunch of...
That's how you did it.
Gummy bears is what got me in this predicament in the first place. So let's use our heads. It's about that change with the surgery was just the beginning, but building that relationship with Teri where we talk about everything from emotional eating to emotional reaction with eating to understanding that food is fuel and not comfort, like all those things. We break them down every week, man. Every week I tell her everything. I tell her if I cheated, I tell her if I was thinking about cheating with candy or whatever, if I was thinking about it, and then we go into, well, why did you do that? And we get down into that, and then we start taking different directions. And we do stuff every single week. We have a half-hour meeting or an hour meeting every week, and I just come clean with what I'm thinking, what's going on, and we talk about how to prepare, how to be consistent. Consistency is what she constantly preaches to me. Consistency, that's what keeps it going.
Teri, what are some of the reasons why people who you're working with cheat, stop doing the recommendations?
Well, I think you need to have a plan that works for you long term. So I feel like excess weight it's so, I don't know, it's so heavy on a person, and it has such a negative impact on a person, not just physically but like mentally and emotionally, that people are desperate to lose the weight, and so out of that desperation, we often are impatient with a possible healthy long-term plan. We don't give it enough time to actually work. We don't let our bodies have time to adjust to it. And then we're drawn to these like fad diets out there that promise, you know, fast results, quick fixes, you know, speedy weight loss. And so we're drawn to these instead.
And it can actually make things worse because it's messing up your body's natural metabolism.
They don't necessarily have your health in mind, and they are usually short-term plans. So you aren't changing your habits.
Yeah. You know, my own battle with keeping the weight off is the problem is the weight begins to leave my body up here, and it takes 4 months to get down to the belly, which is my challenge.
I used to always say, fat guys, we drain from the head down. But it's that slow progression. It's that understanding that you can't undo years of damage in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the great things she straightened out in my head was my relationship with food.
Yeah.
No matter what you want to change in your life, it's between your ears. It's between your ears, man. Everything else comes from the surrender of, I need some help, and I'm willing to listen to the things I didn't want to listen to before. It changes everything.
I want to spend a lot of time on that because you've mentioned it's between the ears.
Absolutely.
We have to take a break.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that when we come back. So stick around. We're back with Billy Gardell and Teri Hlubik. Now, Teri, Billy mentions it's this head game, this mind game. Weight loss happens between the ears. Explain this to us.
Food is really everything. It's how we celebrate. It's how we make ourselves feel better. It's what we use as a reward. It's there as a social interaction. You know, we gather all around food. So we've developed these like very strong relationships with food that are usually not around healthy food. And so it's hard to kind of break that relationship and retrain the way that you see food. So I love teaching people about the power of food because every food has a reaction in the body. Food is information. And so when you really learn about what food is actually doing for your body, it can help you to see it differently and change your habits easier.
What makes your favorite food is based on the emotional experience you had when you were introduced
100.
to it.
Yeah.
And so, Billy, you're saying this battle's between the ears. What was your battle?
It absolutely is. Well, I grew up in a house, God bless them, very working class family, but the philosophy was we had a bad day, let's eat. We had a good day, let's eat. So there was no escaping it, you know. But the idea that kind of eating was going to change my mood, my positivity, my emotions, like it blew me away. Like she's put me on different foods, and I'm telling you, it has changed how I feel during the day, how I move during the day.
Absolutely.
There's no more lethargy during the day. And that was just from food changes. But that all again comes from being willing to do what you didn't want to do. And that comes from going, you know what, I can't do this alone. You know, my wife Patty, God bless her, who's been with me through everything, she calls me New Billy. Because it used to be like if she forgot something upstairs, I wasn't going up there to get that. I couldn't get. I'm like, well, we'll see that at bedtime. But now I just run up and get it and run back, and she's always like, I like New Billy.
Yeah.
So the idea, and then to be able to go do things with my wife, man, because my wife's like, she likes to walk, she wants to go to yoga, she wants to, you know, I used to be like, see you when you get back. So now I get to do those things with her, and it's brought us closer. So the more you take care of your health, I believe there's a spiritual connection for everybody who loves you too. You become closer and more involved, and then to be able to do the things that I never thought I'd be able to do at 54 is. Now there's two choices there too. You can go, well, I should have done it so much sooner. Hey man, enlightenment doesn't care when you get there, as long as you arrive.
Yeah.
And if you stay in that place, it keeps getting better. I'm so grateful for where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
We're both over 50. We have to find energy anywhere we can find it because we don't have the same.
Man, I can hurt myself sleeping, so I got to be careful out there. I got to take care of the engine, you know.
Absolutely.
As we're getting older, it becomes more apparent that it's not just you need to take care of your bones and your muscles, but your brain. And food is very powerful, and that's what I love. I love teaching people about that because you can use it to your advantage to feel your best. Because it's not just a physical. It's not just a physical like vanity thing. It's emotional and psychological, and it affects everything.
We want to look good for the wedding photos. We want to look good at the Christmas photos, and that is a payoff. But I feel like we always have to have this consistent. But what after that? Are we just going to relapse after that?
Well, I think the key to that is enjoying your plan. Like you want to have a long-term plan that you can stick with and be consistent with, but you have to enjoy it because food is very enjoyable. And like we're talking about, it really is everywhere. So you don't want to feel deprived and don't focus on things that like you can't have. If you focus more on what you can have and why you want that and how you're healing your body and look at all the positive things and feel and remind yourself constantly about how good you're feeling and how you're wearing a size, large shirt and crossing your legs in the chair and getting up the stairs.
My big motivator, and we talk about it, is my wife and kid. That's one of the fires for me every day. And because my wife loved me when I was at my absolute worst, not a penny, unhealthy, and yet she saw something in me. So I'm trying to stay healthy now, to be present and be thankful for that time she was by my side there. So I'm trying to give that back now. And the other thing is, when you're a parent, you do dad math after 50. You're like, all right, if I can live to 75, he'll be 40. So I want to give myself that best shot. And where I was at before this, I was denying because I want to be there for as much of his life as I can be there for. I want to be there. I want to annoy my wife for 20 more years. You know what I mean? I really love her. That's something you don't hear a lot of comics say, but I understand what this woman has stood by me through. And so now I want to make it about our time.
I love that.
Thanks.
I love that. In closing, I know that it's not just about things in the future that you want to do, but you were able to do a lifelong dream because of the weight loss. What were you able to do?
When I lost my weight, my wife and I got married in Hawaii. Hawaii's a very spiritual place for us. It's the only place I've ever been that I didn't want to come home. So if there's any Hawaiians out there, chee-hoo! But it's so special to me, man. And that was the thing I went after. I told her, I said, I am going to go take a surf lesson in Hawaii, and I'm going to stay out there until the sharks eat me or I get on that board. And my son and my wife were on the shore. And God.
I brought a tissue.
It was so big. My kid was filming me. So my son saw me make this transformation, and I was out there for 2.5 hours, but I caught 2 waves. And my son saw me get up after being this huge guy, saw me stand on a surfboard and surf it in. And you could hear him yelling over the phone, like, way to go, Dad. And it was like, man, it was like riding God's hand. There's no, I can't explain what that was. And that is something that is, I don't care when it happened, the fact that it happened is so powerful. Look, there's nothing you can't do if you're willing to change. That's it. That's it.
Stay with us. I have some words of encouragement that could help you during your own journey to better health.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Anyone who struggles to lose weight understands that there is a lot of great advice out there, but following that advice is easier said than done. It can all be so overwhelming, but it doesn't mean you have to stay stuck. Taking a step, even if it's a small step, can be all the difference in the world. Science tells us that setting specific weight loss goals are critical for success. Additionally, the American Psychological Association found that visualizing your goals and tracking progress helps you lose the weight. So picture yourself in those pre-pandemic jeans gathering dust in your closet. No one says it's easy, but there are people just like you that have gotten unstuck and finally were able to lose the weight. Some got kick-started because of a health scare, but long-lasting motivation tends to be driven more by a focus on others. Maybe just reminding yourself you don't want to miss out on those special events with your kids might be that critical first step. I'm Roy Ice, reminding you your best life is possible, and your tomorrow can be even better than today. So let's keep growing. That was amazing. Thank you. Don't forget that you can find exclusive content on all of our guests. Check us out on social media using the handle Lifestyle with Roy.